West Michigan is home to a lot of funny people, from Gilda's Club Laugh Fest to the Comedy Project to the OG Dr. Grins. You can find the laughs nearly every night of the week. Our next guest is one of them with some Hollywood and journalism roots. Welcome to Virginia Anzengruber. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. You know, I don't love to interview comedians, but I've already talked to you once, so I gave you the okay.
Yes.
You know, single mama, also just trying to make it work.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of your backstory.
So I famously went back to stand up after a 9-year hiatus in the middle of my divorce a few years ago because I just really wanted to be a cliche.
Like, because they're funny. Divorces are funny.
Well, yeah, everyone loves that, right? And I got divorced over Zoom, so it just looked like the beginning of the Brady Bunch, you know? It was just everyone tiled and sad, you know? No, but I've been a stand-up and a writer for a long time, but I spent 5 years working in LA and was working in writers' rooms and on set and kind of staying out until open mics at 2 a.m. and then having to be on set at 6. It kind of just wasn't like feasible, so I took like a 9-year break.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, went back a couple years ago, and now here we are, still single, but even funnier, so.
It's like when you can just laugh at yourself, everything is funnier,
exactly.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about your immersion into the Grand Rapids comedy scene. You're all over the place, but you also write about it.
I do.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite joys is the column that I write for localspins.com. John Sinkovich is a huge advocate for the music industry here, and I sort of approached him a couple years ago. I was a journalist for many years in Florida, and I've interviewed comedians like Stephen Wright and Leanne Morgan, and I sort of said, hey, we have a lot of amazing people that are national names that come through here, but we also have this incredible scene that is just percolating. You named some of them before, the Comedy Project, but there's this amazing kind of independent economy of comedy in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
And so I write a column called Local Grins.
Yeah.
For localspins.com because I am very original.
It works.
It's great, yeah. But I really like to highlight sort of all the shows that are going on. And you guys actually had a friend of mine, Evan Coons, on recently. They had their AI versus human show. And so it's fun because there's always something going on. And these are folks that I've lived in LA. I've worked, and done comedy all over the country. These are folks that are on par with LA, New York, Chicago, and they're right in your backyard.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And that's not the first time I've heard that. You know, a lot of people will go to bat and say Grand Rapids comedy is up here.
100%.
Let's talk about your shows too, and more that you're bringing to the table.
Yeah, so I fortunately have been allowed repeatedly to hold a microphone on stage, and so now they are booking me intentionally for shows. Now I'm opening for Beth Stelling, the Pyramid Scheme in October, and I've been working with the Pyramid Scheme specifically. We brought back an open mic, so there's a free monthly open mic now in their front room called High Score Comedy, and they are great because they've been a community partner and they're collaborating with a lot of other venues in town, and most recently announced Leslie Jones coming to the Big Room at Silva, and that's a collab with the Pyramid Scheme. And it's so cool because we are, kind of a more mid-sized city, but the caliber of folks that are coming through, it's like you don't have to travel to Chicago and Detroit to see these like A-listers. They're literally down the street. It's so incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so talk about open mic night too. I mean, putting yourself out there, are you putting out the call? Like, should somebody, how much preparation do you have to do before you go up and try to do an open mic? I mean, do people bomb all the time?
Oh, I bomb all the time. What do you mean? Yeah, no, I think one of the great things about open mics in particular is that it gives you an opportunity to try new things.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned earlier, I host a few different open mics around town, and one of the shows I host is High Score. It's a pre-book, so you sort of submit ahead, but then the last 15 minutes of every show is dedicated to what we call 60-second show up, go up. And that means anyone. Brand new comedians, audience members, anybody can decide, hey, I'm gonna try to be a comedian. And we actually now have comics that are making the circuit that started their first time by being brave enough to take 60 seconds and go up and tell some jokes. So it's really fun. We're really trying to help foster a local pipeline here, so that when there are people coming through Dr. Grins, there's a huge talent pool of local openers and folks that can go and do time and make everybody laugh.
I love that.
Yeah.
60 seconds. I mean, you can create
do
something
that.
funny in 60 seconds,
Well,
right?
and the great thing is, if you suck, it's only 60 seconds.
There you go. Then it's over.
It's over.
It's like a shot,
Exactly.
right? Yeah. Perfect. All right, Virginia, where can people find you, know where you're at, catch your shows?
Absolutely. So I'm on Instagram at Virginia Anzengruber. I'm on TikTok at Lunch Table Comic. I am at Local Grins for localspins.com, and you can catch all my shows. I talk about them incessantly. So if you follow me on social media, you can't escape it.
Yeah. Well, you also talk about food too. I've seen some food TikToks that are pretty good.
Have you had the food in Grand Rapids? It's incredible.
I know.
I'm out here just trying to find reasons for people to sponsor me. I see you, Brooklyn Bodega. I need a chopped cheese, okay?
Perfect. All right. So, and of course, then you've got your April 24th show at Dr. Grins, 7:15 and 9:45.
Yes, I am opening for Jay Jordan this weekend. I'm guesting. He is an amazing comedian. He's got like 250,000 followers on Instagram. Very, very funny. And I'm very fortunate to be one of the comics guesting for him on Friday night, both shows. So,
Perfect.
Yeah,
All
tickets
right.
are available now. Please go get them.
There you go. thebob.com/Dr. Grins to get your tickets. Virginia, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.